Welcome. Well, time to do some harvesting. Okay. Okay. It's gonna save what's going on here. Let's see how we can get out of this mess that we've created for ourselves. This is where the beauty of having that extra space that I created the other episode. We've cut the grass, but it looks like it's growing again, so we're not really gonna stress on that right now. I'm curious to see why this is not working. I'd have to look into it and see why it actually does not refuel. I'm pretty sure that when oops. Okay, so we took the wrong turn. I'm pretty sure that when I looked at it, it actually was supposed to be a fueling station, and that was the point. Unless I misread, which hey, it's quite possible that I did. Yeah, it's quite possible that I did. So that's not gonna be an let's just put it on. Actually, you know what? I don't want to put it on work yet. What would it be under? Would it be under tools? Completely forgot that I actually have sheds in here. Oh, it's way too big. Anyway, I'm sidetracked here. Hey, this is a little. I can put my headers on this. I diverge again. So it wouldn't be under tools. Definitely wouldn't be under farmhouse. Oh, there we are. A purely decorative thing. Well, I should have learned to read. I mean, it's a nice thing. If I find something, I'm gonna do the headlands myself. If I'm gonna find something that I can sort of use as a petrol station, a small thing, and then just add that as decorations, I will put it back on. If not, it can stay like that. Okay, so this is our starting point. Boom. So we got ourselves some barley. And we're gonna get ourselves some straw, which we're gonna have to come and pick up. So yeah, lots and lots of fun. I'm gonna have to plow this field so I can get rid of the tram lines. Okay, so let's start going. Boom. I'm obviously gonna time-lapse some of this. Whether I'm gonna time-lapse all of it or not, I don't know. We're gonna need to look at a bigger combine at one stage in all this. I like this combine because I don't normally get to use it, so because of that I kept it. But it is kind of becoming a bit small for the amount of fields that we have, so we're gonna need to look into it. Anyway, we'll time-lapse some of these. this field, honestly, I did not expect to get 2 full combines out of this. And what's strange is that it normally ran at around 74%. I think a couple of times I saw it that it was running at 80%, but that was just very, very, very brief. So we are going to get close to 20,000 liters of Barbie off this field at 74%. It can run up to 100%, obviously. So I think this is the maximum that this field does, is 100%. And that would mean that we would have to obviously, fertilize it and lime it and roll it and all that sort of stuff, which is fine. I'm going to set the worker to do that field, and I might start baling this field over here. And then we'll be starting with a fresh combine, not, already somewhat filled. AI work twice is fine. Whatever, start with whatever you want, I don't care. Oops. It's dangerous to jump out of the combine while the combine's running. So just under 20,500 liters, which, to be honest, I did not expect. I'll be honest. I thought we'd get 1 combine and maybe half. So the fact that I had to unload the combine twice was a surprise to me. A good surprise, but a surprise nevertheless. But this truck is not a very high capacity truck, which is fine. Not that I wouldn't have preferred something a bit higher capacity, but hey. One thing that I'm noticing is that there's not a lot of mods out there that are, crazy out of realism capacity type of thing. There is very little like that. Maybe because a lot of the modders, they used to just get mods and change like I used to do back in 15, 17, I think 19. You'd get a mod and you just go into the XML file and change the capacity. I think a lot of those modders have disappeared. So because they've disappeared, we don't have these mods that have kind of just been designed by somebody else, and then, oh, it's not leaving swap. That's not very good. Now start again. Hopefully it will do the right thing this time. You know what? I'm gonna bring this tractor home, and this will be the tractor that we use. Oops. This will be the tractor that we use for baling. That's assuming that we are going to start any baling, that is. Because I may just decide to start baling on the next episode, and that way we get to do baling and all the field work in the next episode. So who knows, we're looking at, I've already kind of around the half an hour mark, which I try to keep the episodes under half an hour where possible, purely because I think they get too long. Once they get to 40, 50, 60 minutes, it just kind of gets too long. So I like these tractors. I remember when I first realized, I bought the FS15, I think, or yeah, 15, and we learned how to add money in. That was such an awesome thing. But then they kind of completely destroyed FS15, because all of a sudden the point is not to play and make money, because you could just add money, and that kind of kind of took away from the game quite a lot. See, that's one of the things that you see Dagwin does. He does so well. Is he plays way below his capacity to actually make money on the game. Because what he does is he realizes that once you do have a lot of money, and once you do have the capacity to buy all the equipment that you want, piece of cake type of thing, the game does lag a little bit in the sense of your desire to play it, because there's not really and you know, you can just buy whatever you want. Doesn't really, you know, you don't really need anything. Whatever you want, it's there. You can just go and pick it up, type of thing. And I've got a little bit of that problem in my competitive series. The fact that I can, where did I leave my bayonets? The fact that I can the fact that I can go and buy anything that I want at a fairly realistic, well, it is realistic from a game perspective, but with quite ease. It kind of takes away from the game itself a little bit, because instead of having to struggle to buy a baler or whatever, you can just buy things and piece of cake type of thing. So positives and negatives. You know, if the game is too slow, then you're kind of losing you're kind of losing that interest, you know, to try and get to it. But if you're way too fast and way too easy to get the money that you need for whatever you need, then it kind of becomes too easy. Does that make sense? So you kind of need to look at it from both ends. Is it really worth getting a lot of money, even if it's, you know, rightly so, like you're not cheating the money in, or, you know, you're better off trying to sort of pretend that you're struggling to make money, and that way the game is a little bit more interesting. And I think that's what Dagwin does very, very well. Like you see, even in his competitive series, he doesn't really compete. He can, and he does. Like I saw the other day, we had a plowing contract for like almost $36,000. It's like, oh, it's not worth it. And he had the tractor, he had the plow. All he had to do is just set up the tractor and the plow to work, and he could have gone on his work and make $36,000. Instead, he chose to do like $4,000 and $5,000 contracts, you know, thinking, oh, they're worth it because, and blah blah blah. You know, anybody that knows how to play this game knows that in that particular instance, you could have very, very easily just said, hey, you know what, we're just going to set the worker to do that contract, and I'll go on with my whatever I do, and yeah, Bob's your uncle type of thing. At the end of the day, you're making $36,000. But he chooses the other way, and he chooses the other way because it makes it more interesting for us to watch it. So yeah, it is quite interesting with the way things work out now that we have production. I think production did add and does add a new dimension to the game, but it also makes it quite a lot easier now that you can just buy production and make a fortune. Like I look at my competitive series, and the fact that I've got the what am I making? I can't even remember what I'm making. It's just selling it straight up. Whatever tree production, I think I'm just making planks and things of that nature. Where are you? The fact that you're doing that, it's just so easy to make money. And you know, I can make $1 million in a month per se, as if you're talking game terms, quite easily. And this is where you kind of, even myself when I play, this is why I decided to, you know, let's have some, not really take care of the timber side of making sure that the production's always full, because he was becoming a bit too easy. You know, I could just I don't even think I sold any of the crops. I'm trying to think if I even once sold any of the crops that I grew in the series that I'm competing against, Agwayne and Chainsaw. I probably did, and I can't remember, but I don't think I sold anything. That's because you're making so much money off production. You don't really need to be harvesting and plowing and all that sort of stuff. That's just a bonus. Now, what's the answer? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe, well, the way the game is, without upgrading your factories and your production and all that sort of stuff, you're not really going to make as much money that way, because of the mods that are able to upgrade your production and all that you're making the money. So really, I don't think there's anything broken as such. If you were to make the production like too difficult, I know some of the bakeries, it requires so many different things to have a cake baked or whatever that you just don't even bother. Like where you require 8, 9, 10 different ingredients, you don't even bother. It's like, yeah, whatever, let's just leave it as it is, and who cares, type of thing. So I don't think the answer is let's make things more difficult, and I don't think the answer is let's completely ignore it either. So something has to happen. But the game has progressed nicely. Oh, great. Mine is the truck here. So the game has progressed nicely, in my opinion. The way Giants have done things with the production is quite good. There's only one thing that I would kind of, I don't know, is the timber side of things. As much as it is good, and they try to keep a realistic thing to it, just too hard to deal with. And the slurry and all that, slurry and manure, I think they need to slow down the usage. Otherwise, the machinery for slurry and all that is just a gimmick. I watch a few different YouTubers that play Farming Simulator and do videos from it. I barely see any of them use it, and if they do, it's like they're going to use it on one of his on this particular series. But if they do, it is only because they want to do something different. It's not because, hey, let's do this. It's just because they're doing videos and they say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna put slurry or whatever purely because we are doing videos and it will look better for me to for him to be actually applying manure or slurry instead of just the usual thing. So I think if they slowed the usage down a little bit, where you don't have to, on a field like that, you have to go and fill in 3 or 4 times. I think if they did that, that equipment would be more used. Like, imagine you're the supplier, the manufacturer of that equipment, and I'm assuming they're paying Farming Simulator to put that branded equipment in the game, but it doesn't really get used. So what's the point in being in the game? As much as it's such nice equipment, and I haven't even looked at what's available. Not really a lot, is there? Like, you look at something like this, 3,000 liters, you wouldn't even be able to do, well, you pretty much wouldn't be able to do anything with that. So, not because there's anything wrong with that particular mod. The mod is fine. It's just the fact that it just takes such a huge amount. So nothing there. Such a huge amount slurry to be able to do the smallest field. So you look at slurry tankers. There's so many of them. I have so many of them, but I've never used them. I think I bought this one for my competitive series. I realized you have the slurry transport, right? And I do. Like, there you are, 65,000 liters. So you can carry this much. 30,000, 30,000, 39,000 liters. So you can carry it to the field, which in a multiplayer environment, fantastic. In a single player, not so good, because you're still having a lot of work to do with not really a lot of benefit. Anyway, I think I've rambled on and on enough. FS is quite a good game. It's got so many things that are working out fantastic, so shouldn't complain. Trying to think if I'm gonna finish this or let the worker finish it, and we'll see what happens. Is that our field in front of us? No, we'll see. Anyway, I think I'll end this episode. Otherwise it's gonna end up being way too long. So plus we'll have quite a lot of harvesting to do. So have a wonderful day wherever you are around the world. God bless you and your family. See you in the next one. Have fun. Bye bye.